Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to take a quick look at some of the prop firms, and they're offering direct funding. Now, direct funding effectively is a way of getting funding with a prop firm without having to go through any challenge or verification phase, which on one hand seems quite good, but on the flip side to that, there are lots of downsides and drawbacks from this one. I think also we need to be quite careful, because if we think back many months ago when Funding Talent had a very similar sort of scheme where they enabled up to $300,000 worth of direct funding on some of their accounts. Although the actual payouts were quite poor, some people were taking out huge profits, and that may have actually been a downfall of that particular prop firm. Potentially, who knows, but it's one of the things to be wary of, that direct funding potentially is a lot of a bigger risk to some of the prop firms. So personally, I think a lot of the prop firms all starting out from now and the rest of 2022 might actually offer this as an option, because there are a lot of people out there calling for it. They want the ability to get, as a direct funded, get some profits very quickly, maybe as a stepping stone to going on to the other challenge modes, therefore get much bigger accounts. But again, just that way of actually getting a option of getting some money out of trading, because they may not have the actual equity to go into a proper live account at that point, but have the few $100s potentially to buy into a direct funding model. Now, a lot of people do actually see trading as gambling, and if we look at it in the UK, if you're trading your own money through a spread betting account, that is classed as gaming and comes under the gaming regulations in the UK, and therefore you don't have to pay any tax on it, providing that's not your primary income. Now, if we also do that same analogy into casinos as an example, I would look at the challenge and verification models, which all the big prop firms are doing right now, more like the top end. That's the big players in poker. Obviously, you have to learn all the rules, you have to go through a long sort of period to actually learn and get all of the skills and knowledge of playing poker before you can start playing at the big tables. And then if you look at it as a funding model, you've got all of the players around the table. Ultimately, one person wins and takes all their chips. If you look at a direct funding model, I would give that analogy to almost like a slot machine. You rock up with your tokens or your coins or your notes, put them into the machine, press a button and hope for the best, and just see what comes out the end of it. If you do get the jackpot, fantastic. If not, just walk away and you haven't lost anything. You haven't put much time and effort into actually getting through a funded process. Now, if we look through a lot of prop firms, some of the big ones are offering almost like a direct funding model. You look at the 5%ers, they do call that direct funding, but it's more of a scaling plan. You start off at a very small amount, and only when you get to a certain threshold, obviously they will scale you up to another level and give you a payout. My Forex funds do something very similar, where you can actually have an account size, but the downside to a lot of these is that the payouts are often quite small. In My Forex funds, it's only 12% payout. Other ones, they have a 50-50 split, like BlueFX, for example. The leverage is also tends to be quite low. Some of them give as low as 1 to 10 leverage. And also they put sometimes a lot more restrictive rules in place to actually stop traders from really getting some great potential and hitting the target straight away. And even in some cases, we actually look at the fees involved in paying for the ability to trade these accounts. You're almost paying for the losses straight off. So if you look at some of these, if you've got a drawdown maximum limit, and therefore the maximum you can ever lose is, let's say, $500, often it's a case where you're paying $500 to get onto these direct funding. So again, there's very, very little risk to the actual prop firms unless somebody does actually go through and obliterate them and take some huge profits very quickly. So if I go through some of the websites just very quickly of 3 of the direct funding models, just do a quick comparison, see how they stack up, and see if they're actually anything that people actually want to embark on, pay their money for, and start on a funded journey. Okay, so here on My Forex funds, we have the rapid account effectively, which is almost what they call direct funding. Now, you are still constrained by the daily drawdown and overall drawdown rules, where you actually would lose your account. And if you look at the top, there are no targets, and you get paid 12% of the profits in your account. So if you think about a $100,000 account, if you're only getting paid 12%, you're almost only trading, if it was your own money, about a $10,000 account. So it's not actually massive. You see how long it's going to take to actually get to some good returns. Let's say you make 10% return on that, you're only going to get paid out £1,000 or slightly more. So this is BlueFX. They're obviously quite large in the direct funding, and also you can start off on their smaller package, which is a $25,000 account, and we can see that you can't take any withdrawals until you've hit 5%, which is effectively $1,250. Now again, you are restricted on your trading hours. You only trade between 6 AM and 9 PM UK times. Your profit split is only 50-50, and you're only limited to trading certain things. And also that's a monthly subscription of £99. So we can see if you're taking several months to get there, you've almost paid out what you're going to get paid back. Let's say you hit 5%, you're only going to get paid out half of that $1,250. And the other thing BlueFX likes you to do, if you're actually able to hit that target but don't withdraw it, they will scale your account up. So I think they might be thinking that if you've done this 2, 3, 4 times, eventually you might actually blow the account and they have to pay you out nothing. So here we have TraderCentral Fund, and again it's very much a direct funding. It's an instant funding, it's a one-time fee as well. And here your target to start with, before you can make a withdrawal, is only 0.5%, which again is much better than the other prop firms. You can actually get a withdrawal very quickly. Same thing, you've got a drawdown limit of only 5%. That's a lot smaller because others give you a daily drawdown and a maximum drawdown. We can see the account leverage is 1:50 and the profit share is only 60%. So I do have some experience trading these direct funding models. Now I did try BlueFX for a while. I did a couple of months with them. I just didn't like the restrictions around the leverage, some of the rules they had in place as well. It really made it quite difficult to actually get to those percentage points. I've also got a direct funding with Corp Equity Capital. It's only a $5,000 direct funding account, but again the benefit with those guys is when I did it is you could actually withdraw straight away after 2 weeks, and again there was no profit target at all. But I would say if you are thinking of doing a direct funding, please do your research on the actual prop firms themselves. A lot of them are offering what they appear to be quite good deals, but when you actually drill down into actually what you get out of it, it's not as always easy to achieve the either profit objectives, to be able to scale up the accounts or take withdrawals. And obviously a lot of the rules are quite restrictive and actually stop you trading the way you actually want to. So I hope you enjoyed today's quick video on direct funding. I do think it's going to take off a lot more this year. There are going to be lots more prop firms launching. They might just be dedicated direct funding ones and don't do the other options, and really try and get people onto a much quicker path to funding. Who knows if they would actually survive, if they're going to actually be able to be profitable. But again, it's definitely an area of the industry that I do see expanding this year. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch up again soon. Cheers.